Hi, and welcome to GENO'S Picks, presented by the SBRforum.com. Hope you're following me there, guys, because in 2012, between the NFL and NCAA, Daddy is 5-2. That's like 70% giving away money. And even though we finished the season 40%, 35-53, first losing season ever, we are 6-4 over the past 2 weeks. So you can't wait to get to these 4 winners. But first, you know what really grinds my gears? The San Diego Chargers. I bet a lot of you knew that was coming. They decided to keep AJ Smith and Norv Turner. Why? In Philadelphia, a lot of people wanted to get rid of Reed, but at least you can make an argument to keep him. Norv Turner, there is no reason to keep him. They continually regress every year. They went from 14-2 under Schottenheimer to they took him, and he won 2 playoff games, won 1, lost 1. Hasn't made it the past 2 years. And why would you expect anything different from this guy? The guy's never played for him. Yet, the front office, the day after he lost that big game to the Jets, in which they were highly favored, and his team just didn't show up because he's a terrible coach, he got a contract extension. Someone asked me recently how long that was for. I said, I don't know, because when I heard the words, Norv Turner has been retained for, it was a lot like a man that's in jail and he's approached by a 275-pound prison inmate who says the words, I'm going to start raping you for the next. Exactly. Time doesn't matter at that point because the moment those words are uttered, a part of your soul dies forever. People, you're killing me in San Diego. Let's get to the picks. My first pick, we're going right in order, guys. The Houston Texans are giving 3 to the Cincinnati Bengals in Houston. People, what can you say about what Gary Kubiak has done with his team this year? He's on his 3rd QB in TJ Yates, and yet this team looks pretty solid. And that's because of this guy, Wade Phillips, who has really done a lot with the defense of the Houston Texans. Now, look. I get it. TJ Yates is banged up, but he's like every NFL quarterback. He's banged up in the head, unlike Andy Dalton this week. Andy Dalton was literally separated from his team Wednesday because he had the flu. In fact, Marvin Lewis said his QB was losing sleep and hanging his head over the toilet, which is funny because after 17 weeks of Bengals football, that's usually what the fans are doing there. Look, people, let's talk about Houston. They're a great team with a great defense. Cincinnati, we've said all year, they have yet to beat someone that's any good. In fact, I'm not sure what's more frightening about the Bengals. That in week 2, they lost to the Denver Broncos. That was back when they had Orton and they stunk. Or that 2 of their wins are by narrowly defeating the Cleveland Browns. People, let me tell you, the only roster with more people 1 step away from being out of the business than the football team in Cleveland is the cast of Hot in Cleveland. Yeah, they're all on their last legs, and it doesn't mean anything when you beat them. I love the fact that the Texans have a great defense. I look for Arian Foster to pound the ball down their throat. We know how well Arians do getting through lines this time of year. People, what can you say? Take the Texans, lay the 3. My next pick, the Detroit Lions are getting 10.5 points from the New Orleans Saints in New Orleans. What can you say about the Saints other than they are arguably the best team in football right now? Drew Brees is on fire. They lost opening week to Green Bay, and they lost what everyone will call a trap game against the Rams. But since then, they've been taking teams apart. And the Detroit Lions can instill a lot of confidence in their fans because last week, they were dismantled by that kid Matt Flynn from LSU. How do you think Drew Brees is going to do against them? He's going to rip them apart. But you've got to realize there is one difference between this game and the time these 2 teams matched up in Week 13, and Ndamukong Suh. And I think he's going to make a difference. Will the Saints win this game? No, but 2 things will be different. And Ndamukong Suh will play, and no one will be getting stomped. That's right. I like the Saints in this game, but I don't see them winning by 11. Take the Lions and the points. My next pick, the New York Giants are getting 3 against the Atlanta Falcons in the Meadowlands on Sunday. I shouldn't even pick the Giants because my producer Joe is being a jerk. But let's face it, people. The Giants' playoffs started last week, and they crushed the Dallas Cowboys. And you know why? Because of their coach, Tom Coughlin. Unlike Norv Turner, unlike Mike Smith, no offense, he gets his players up and prepared, and they're going to come out hungry. And what can you say about Victor Cruz? This kid has been an X factor. He's been amazing. So if your girl's a football widow complaining, sit her in front of this game because she can see some salsa dancing, a lot of it. Here's the other factor you have to take into account. I like the Falcons. I like Matt Ryan. But when you put them outside, ready for this stat? They are 2-3 in outdoor games. And you know why? Because if you're a Falcons fan, you're probably a fan of those cute little lap dogs. Everyone thinks they're fantastic and they're a big fan of them indoors. But once you put them outside, they last about 5 minutes. Look for the Giants to take control of this game and run away with it. Take the Giants, lay the 3. Screw you, Fernandez. That joke was great. Which brings me to my lock of the week. Or my last pick. Might as well be. People, the Pittsburgh Steelers are giving 8 to the Denver Broncos in Denver. Hey, it's going to come down to 2 quarterbacks, obviously. One, Ben Roethlisberger. I know he's banged up, but he's always banged up, and we're used to watching him play great like that. And here's a staggering stat for you. In the postseason, Ben Roethlisberger is 10-3. He's only lost 3 postseason games. Meanwhile, Tim Tebow has lost his last 3 starts in week 15, 16, and 17. And you know what's not going to help Tebow focus? The fact that owner John Elway said, just man up and pull the trigger. People, once that phrase is in your head, you're screwed. All you do is freeze up. I mean, what do you think was going through Rolf's head in that scene in The Sound of Music? Pull the trigger, Rolf! Squeeze it! 5 times! Be a man! Save 1 bullet, because Liesel's not going to rape herself. Am I right? If you don't like Holocaust rape jokes, people, I don't know what to give you. Well, let me tell you, this game is going to end exactly like that scene ended, with someone blowing the whistle and everything ending poorly for that man, Rolf. And Tim Tebow. People, look for Ben Roethlisberger to get his 11th postseason win. Meanwhile, as for Tim Tebow, his losing streak is week 17 going on 18. People, those are Geno's picks.